Nikolaj, it's great to have you here. Personally, we know we go back a few years, 10 years at least, and to see you here playing with us, the Sibelius, for me it's a great pleasure. And I just wanted to know how you feel about it coming back to. I mean, you've been here already, you know the place, but how is it to come back and play the Sibelius here in Berlin?
Well, look, we all know there are some places, geographically speaking, that are special in the world. Berlin is one of them. I mean, for music, yeah. Berlin is one. And, we have Vienna, and we have a few places in the world where we know for music this is a special place. Berlin is one. We have a few concert halls in the world that we know are special. We have Musikverein, we have Konzertgebouw, we have the Philharmonie in Berlin. So it's already 2 out of 2. And then we have orchestras in the world. When you talk about it from a point of view of a soloist, you have orchestras that are special, and none more special, than the Berlin Philharmonic. And so to come here and do such a piece, such a monstrous sort of monumental work, rather, is such a joy. And then to come, I haven't been here in a few years, and to come and see so many friends that I've seen, in other places, in chamber music festivals, or and to come and make music is just wonderful, just a joy.
I wanted to ask you about the concerto, the Sibelius concerto. I mean, the original version are somehow, it's not allowed to play. Can you tell us about it a bit in few words?
Sure.
Why? And
well, we all know it, or those of us who know it from a recording.
Yeah.
A very good recording by Leonidas Kavakos, who made the recording. And
with the original version?
With the original version.
Yeah.
I believe the only recording, I think. And the piece is much longer.
Longer, okay.
Much longer. There's another cadenza written in the last movement as well. Another solo violin piece within the piece. And it's very, very different. And of course, I'm always, in these cases, curious to see what the composer, what was his first idea. Usually, in some cases, it can be interesting to perform as well the original idea, but usually good composers, and Sibelius was a good composer,
and the violinist.
And the violinist knew why they changed it. And what he changed was making it more compact, making it in essence more powerful with lesser means, I think. But I haven't had the chance to study it because I don't think you can get the music. But for sure,
it's by the family. Yeah, the family still holds it. And
that's right. So one day maybe we will hear more performances of it.
Yeah.
I'm certainly curious to see the score, what it actually really.
Yeah, of course. As a violist with the Bartók concerto, we also have the original score, and it's always kind of in the middle of between what the composer really wanted. Well, you never know. No, but it's worth trying, of course. And you play on an amazing violin, I have to say. It's too loud. No, I'm joking. It's unbelievable.
It's an extraordinary thing. It's really an extraordinary thing. We all have this, I call it our external vocal cords, no?
Course, yeah.
Because for us as string players, or any kind of instrumentalist, it's the most personal thing we have.
Yeah, we kind of hug it somehow. We just
on top of it, it's something which should be not even an extension of the body, but should be a part of the body. Yeah. And it has the same functions of vocal cords. Yeah. And some people are blessed with extraordinary vocal cords, and some with less good, and they have to compensate for in other ways. We have the great fortune, in a way, I suppose, that you can change your vocal cords and you can try different things. And this particular violin, which is a Guarneri del Gesù, is extraordinary, in my opinion, on so many levels. It has extraordinary power. It has a beauty of sound. Yeah. It has malleability. It can do so many different kinds of sounds. And it has a personality of voice. It has its own voice. So I remember when I first played it, I thought, wow, this is great. And then as I started playing it longer and longer.
But it was like, it was the first.
No, it was second or third. Second or third.
In the beginning, it was still.
I thought it was great, but it hadn't been played in 70 years.
Okay.
70.
7-0.
7-0.
Oh,
very rarely, as you know, a violin needs or instrument needs to be played.
Yeah.
And it was played occasionally, maybe a week here, a week, but never somebody really working on it. Yeah. And so within the first week already, I saw it develop incredibly. And we always have this idea that we have an ideal sound in our ear. No, we have something. We try to create this on the instrument. We have our limitations of technical abilities and the instrument as well. And in this case, I found an instrument which has more. It has more than I imagined you could have. And so in a way, it sort of teaches me, or it informs me. It's
and the
Chrysler
the
Chrysler connection is another level on which this instrument is special. It used to be played for 15 years between 1904 and 1919 by the legendary Fritz Chrysler for all his concerts and all his recordings. So if you find old recordings,
do you know old like there is a specific one?
Everything recorded before 1919 of Fritz Chrysler on this violin. And what was very special is that the Elgar violin concerto was written for Fritz Chrysler, and he premiered it in 1910 on this violin. So it's a tremendous.
It's incredible, huh? It's pure
and then
history.
you look at it, you could put it on the wall. It's such a beautiful piece of art, just visually.
Yeah, and also I heard that you really know how to play the piano too.
Yes,
Is it something you learned for years, or it's kind of I don't want to say a hobby, but
Well, when it started, I loved the piano. We had a piano at home, and I sort of taught myself. My mother had played also as a child a little bit, and she had these, Kindersonatinen and all these albums with a lot, and I used to try and teach myself. I always loved playing the piano, and then later when I was studying, of course, we had to in academy. But I would always relax at the piano, so I would practice, and it would be a lot of concerts, and I would sit at the piano and enjoy.
But it's also something about the sitting of the piano. Sitting, here we are, this is in a way unnatural. And when you sit on the piano, somehow it's more, like you're eating almost, you're sitting in a table.
and it's complete. In other words, you play a piece that has all the voices. You can do it's a mini orchestra.
And exactly, I wanted to ask you, because you are now becoming a famous conductor, not just a violinist. And I think for me, in a way, since I know you, it was natural. I mean, because, when you see someone like you playing the concertos or in chamber music, you always have the something that the extra, the X factor. And this X factor, from my point of view, became the conductor career that you start now. And is it when it started to be clear that you say, okay, I mean, of course, it's not as clear as I'm trying to say it, but, conducting, I really want to do it, it has to come from inside. There's so much, and it's a challenge, it's amazing,
It's very difficult. It's a whole other profession. Of course, there are many things that, as an instrumentalist, that are an advantage for you to know when you start conducting. But I remember it came not, from one morning to the next. It came, I remember very much, we both spent a lot of time with Daniel Barenboim working, and he taught me really. I remember bringing concertos to him, and he would sit with the score and tell me why you cannot slow down here, why you have to be, the kind of work. And essentially what he's doing is teaching you, I don't even want to say how to think like a conductor, but how to think like a musician, really.
In a way, yes.
And so, sort of widening, exactly,
widening your view.
That's right, and seeing the whole picture. And in these times, I spent a lot of time with him and with other conductors. When I was playing in the second half, I would always sit in the orchestra. I was very curious about the literature which exists outside of the one I could play. And I remember sitting in rehearsals with the score. And a couple of things that made it almost inevitable that for me I had to conduct. And one was I spent a week listening to Barenboim doing Figaro, semi-staged in Chicago. And I thought, my God, this is I have to do this. And another thing was when I was preparing to record the Beethoven Violin Concerto, I thought, how can I get to know this piece? How can I get to know it more? I played it many times, so I know the score, but I thought perhaps maybe not approach it always from the same angle. So I bought a piano. And I bought the Beethoven piano sonatas because you have to know them. So I started, I cannot play them, but I got to know them. And I bought all the scores for all the symphonies. And again, I had the same. As I started studying that, it became clear I have to conduct.
I mean, basically, it's somehow fulfilling it just makes you, I don't want to say a better musician like you, but it just, when you have the whole picture, just the whole frame of the music and not just playing the solo.
Yes.
So
the main voice.
The main voice.
The main voice.
But is it really affecting the main voice? I mean, you know, when, let's say Beethoven concerto, and then when you recorded it, after knowing the score, thinking more maybe of a conductor way of playing, it's supposed to change things, no? It's like you
Well,
don't standing there maybe as a, it has to do something more with chamber music even. You know the voices, they are more.
Yes. Well, we always say this. We always have this distinction, as if in chamber music you are supposed to listen to all the other voices,
Yeah.
and then when we play symphonic works, and you hear a lot of conductors also saying, "Play it like, you know, it should be like chamber music."
Yeah.
But I like, let's get rid of this, because it should be music.
Yeah.
You know, chamber music, I understand why we say it, but there should be no difference.
No.
You know, the voices are equally important in a
Yeah.
big symphony of Mahler, where there's so many people playing. There's no difference. It's just an approach to music making. And if anything, what really I found extraordinarily interesting was that I don't see a distinction. I used to have a Nordic Music Academy where I would teach.
Yeah.
And I would like to start this again, because it's something, it's not to your question, but it's something which I found very important.
Education in general.
Exactly. Music
Education.
Education is extremely interesting to me, how we teach the young generation. But what I discovered there was I would do everything within the week. I would teach, I would conduct, I would play chamber music, I would play a concerto, maybe Mozart concerto with a student orchestra. And I realized, my God, there is no difference. Actually, conducting is another way of sharing ideas about music. In playing chamber music is the same. Even teaching is this about getting, getting rid of all the little practical things that get in the way of music making.
We have a lot of dirty, and we just have to.
That's right. Our kitchen work, like Rupert said.
Kitchen, the kitchen, So you like to cook now a lot?
Well,
in the kitchen.
I've become in the kitchen, yes.
In the musical kitchen.
In the musical kitchen.
But
and in the real kitchen, I'm a very good cook's helper.
A sous chef.
That's it. I chop vegetables.
Really?
Very slowly, because I'm slowly. But I like.
You're not using the technique of.
No, it's my own technique.
Your own technique.
Yes, it takes a long time. I can spend a good 45 minutes with an onion.
Makes me cry.
Me too.
Let's play, it's kind of a game.
Yes.
Because it was so sophisticated now, we have to lower the level somehow.
Let's go.
Slow questions, for me, violist. Fast answers. Can you imagine yourself, you have this amazing instrument, but just say yes or no. Can you imagine yourself playing on a modern instrument now? Well,
It does have to be yes or no?
No, not yes or no, but...
I'm very interested in trying, because it would be wonderful if we
find... There are amazing ones.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would be very interested, especially violas. There are some wonderful modern viola.
Yeah.
I'm very curious about it, but it's like in a relationship. If you find somebody who is your soulmate in a way, if you manage to be that lucky, then even somebody might interest you, but you're happy with what you have. And I'm so lucky with the instrument I have that actually I don't want to cheat on it. I want to stay faithful with this one.
And do you have a favorite concerto? I know it's impossible, but kind of a childhood one that you would say, or maybe two.
Well, I think at this stage, I used to go through a lot of different stages of course we go through.
I'm against favorite things anyhow.
Me too.
Really, it's
yes,
not like
I don't care for favorite things, because
favorite composer,
on Monday you like one thing and on Tuesday you like something else. But today, the things that fascinate me are the things that are difficult to figure out. Beethoven concerto, you can spend your whole life playing Beethoven, and maybe you get closer to it. It's one of those pieces that there are so many things you want to do in it, and you shouldn't. And to find the wisdom of like Michelangelo said, to cut away all the superfluous, to get rid of everything that isn't necessary is so difficult. Brahms is another one.
Beethoven and Brahms.
Beethoven and Brahms. I think if we stick with those two, those are things I will never finish with. Impossible.
Any dream if you will not be a musician? What else? Let's say.
It's so difficult, because I feel like and I don't mean this in any kind of presumptuous, even presumptuous way, but I feel like it's not like I chose music. I feel like music chose me in the sense that for me it's so existential that I don't know.
Basically, you cannot see yourself.
I don't know what else to do. I would sweep the floors of the Berlin Philharmonic so that I could listen to the rehearsals. I don't know.
Heard there is
something.
there
There's
is
an opening.
Yeah, yeah. But you know, there's to be addition for that too.
I'll practice.
But I wish you not to clean any floor, just standing on floors and do what you do, and it's a pleasure.
My pleasure. Looking forward.